let the explosion begin. Recruiters with no limits, always live, never scripted. Here with my sidekick and co-host, the one and only Johnny Ruffini.
What's going on, Shark?
Brother, Johnny, number 99, man.
Almost hitting that century mark. Kind of hard to believe.
Ooh,
Still going.
Just one more. And guess who we have as a guest? Finally, after 99 shows, we get my boy on the show. Mr. Brad is in the house. What's up, brother?
Things are good, guys. How are you? Took 99 episodes, but I'm excited to be here. Excited to talk with you guys for a little bit and kind of riff about some marketing stuff.
Well, you were supposed to be on, I think, number 65, but something happened, loophole there. But that's okay.
Yeah. Had a baby last year. Earlier, took some vacation time. What are you going to do?
That's it. And I had to pump up more for you. So here we go. So today's topic.
As you're mentioning, Brad, we waited till 99 because 99 symbolizes Wayne Gretzky is the great one. So you are the great one.
I appreciate your words, my friend.
I did it for 99 bottles on the wall. 91 bottles of beer on the wall.
That'll work too.
Pass them down.
Anyway, we're here. Excited to be a part of the show. Excited to talk for a little bit.
All right, brother. Sounds good, man. So the big thing that we got to talk about today, and it's so important, online marketing, Brad and John. I mean, if we look at everything out there right now in our industry, other industries are passing us by. So this is something that we have to change. And Brad, you're going to elaborate in it, that marketing right now, it's a revolving door. It's coming at you so quick that you have to adjust to it almost every month with all the platforms, everything like that. Give us a little take what you're seeing out there real quick here, and we'll deep dive in, brother.
I think right now I'm sort of on this quest to figure out what the best staffing firms do differently, right? I actually have a talk with ASA today about the topic. And right now, I think the best staffing firms are marrying their sales efforts or their recruiting efforts to their marketing. They are not separate entities. They're not separate. Hey, this arm does this thing. This arm does this thing. And we sort of just operate in silos. This is our sales process. Here's how marketing overlays it to get us deeper down that sales funnel, deeper down that sales process. Or here's our recruitment process. Here's how marketing overlays that to create a stronger recruitment marketing process. So the best staffing firms are understanding that, and they're taking action.
They are.
So you're saying more of a collaborative role in-house between the two departments instead of operating separately, thinking they're working together?
Yeah, 100%. So I saw some data last year that kind of fundamentally shifted how I thought about the two. We know it takes 17 to 20 touches for a prospect to fundamentally know we exist, whether that's a clothing company, a staffing firm, whatever it might be. It takes 17 to 20 touches, not to get the order, for them to know that John's staffing firm is an organization.
That's a lot of touches.
That is a lot of touches. Hold on.
Let me go deeper here. The tricky part, though, is we typically talk about a 10-step sales process. We also know that 90% of sales reps give up at the fourth attempt. Now, friends, I know you're educated. 4 is not 17 to 20. So we're sitting here wondering why we can't get the conversation. It's because we're not having enough touches. We're not getting enough visibility with our prospects. So yes, I think the best staffing firms are overlaying that to create more touches.
Okay, so here's my take on this, Brad. We could jump in it. Personal branding. I hate the word personal branding. It's community branding. If you start community branding, you can eliminate some of them instead of 21 touches or 24 touches, probably down to 15 to 10 if people get to know who you are. What's your take on all that?
Disagree. So those are the touches, though. So I might see, Shark, your content 7 times on LinkedIn. That equates to the 20 touches. So it might be 1 or 2 cold calls, 1 or 2 drop bys. Maybe I'm, stopping by the office with donuts. But then you're layering in on top of that all the LinkedIn content you're posting, all the social content. That's more visibility for the brand. If you think about any sort of Shark supplement company, any sort of clothing company, they're in your Facebook feed 1 billion times because they know it's such a competitive landscape that they need to stay in your radar. So that sales process is so long, they're continuously using that messaging so that you come back and you make that purchase. So we're aligned. It's just those 7 touches, those 7 social posts that a prospect might see have to be tied into that sales process.
Yep, I totally agree on that. I think one thing I got to say, you got to be on other platforms too. And John probably agrees with this too. I mean, most of my sales is on Facebook. Everybody talks about LinkedIn, but there's so much more. What's your take on all this, like stories, Instagram stories and stuff that's in front of you all the time? I mean, it's just like a reel going over and over again.
So my take, is going to be twofold. One, you need to layer in what it is that you're capable of doing. The last thing that I want to say is try to do too much. That a staffing firm needs reels, YouTube shorts. You need to be on TikTok, Instagram, email marketing, direct mail, all of this. It just becomes too much. You have this sort of overwhelmed feeling where you don't do any of it then. So start with what you're comfortable with. The second side of that, and this is an analogy that I paint quite frequently, is we don't know how a prospect or a candidate is going to consume your media, right? So the evening news is the perfect example, or the morning news. Shark, you might roll out of bed and get your news on Twitter. John, you might get the paper delivered to your house, walk out, get the paper and read the morning news. I might listen to it in audio form. We're all consuming the news, but how you consume it is different from me. So when we think about staffing firms, when we think about selling staffing or trying to drive attention from candidates, we don't know how those people are going to receive our message. So we need to be sort of omni-channel because we want to speak to everybody where they want to receive the message.
So two things. One, I know I'm the old guy on the call, but you didn't have to throw the newspaper analogy toward my direction. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go back to something you said that's really stuck with me. You said that 90% of recruiters stop after the fourth touch.
Correct.
If we know that it takes 17 to 20 touches, in your opinion, why do so many recruiters just stop after 4?
Because
there you go.
We're human and we hate hearing no, and we hate rejection and we fear rejection. So we get scared, we run away from it, and we go back to where we're comfortable. And we either don't pick up the phone, we don't call, we don't prospect, or we go back to our current orders and we do more account management style type of selling. But typically, and from the data that we saw here in this, finding from our team, is that 90% of sales reps, and that's in staffing and outside, it's just 90% of sales reps give up at the 4th attempt. And truly, I think it comes down to personal psychology, right? No one wants to hear no. We fear rejection. We fear no. And if you don't have the
for instant gratification
in 2025, absolutely. Absolutely. In 2025,
all about me.
I would think so. Yeah.
It's all about me. LinkedIn, look at it. All about me.
And that's where I think then, John, we need to have the sales system married with a marketing system in place to say, listen, you're going to make calls on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. On Tuesday, you're going to drop by. On Thursday, you're going to do this. And then Shark, to your point, you're also going to be posting on LinkedIn or other social, whatever means you want to use to increase the volume that your prospects are going to see you so that you stay in their world.
Mm-hmm. And I love what you said there, Brad. So now posting, this is something that people, I want you, because you're an expert on this, how to get them hooks, how to get them engaged, look at your stuff. I mean, you got to be creative here. They always say engaging content. Deep dive into that, Brad.
So we need to think with a headline in mind. And we need to think with, actually, I'll steal your line here since I'm on your show, valuetainment, right? So we, I listen to what you're putting out, buddy. I don't sing them all, but I pay attention. I don't watch everybody in the industry, but I do pay attention to what you're saying. So when we think about social media, right, specifically, it's the modern smoke break. I have 5 minutes in between meetings, or I have 2 minutes between, commercials, whatever it might be. Worse, I'm in the bathroom, whatever it might be. And I have 5 minutes to kill, right? And it's okay. I consider it the modern smoke break. What are you going to post that's going to captivate somebody's attention? And what I think the staffing industry fails to get right is you're not just competing on social media against other staffing firms. You're competing against bands, sports teams. You're competing against friends and family members. You're competing against my best friend who just had a baby. That news feed fundamentally exists. So if you're just posting job after job after job after job and there's no entertainment there, no one is going to subscribe to your messaging because they're bored.
Can I say second that? Whoa! Hell yeah, Brad.
Yeah.
I say this all the time, Brad. You hit it on the head. What do you think, John?
I agree 100%. And it frustrates me when I see recruiters thinking they're doing stuff that's productive. And to your point, Brad, all they're doing is posting job, posting by. It's like, I need this, I need this, I need this. They're not adding any value or incentivizing people to want to grab more of their content. And it falls on deaf ears. But what you said really hit home is that they've got to remember they're not just competing for attention for people within their industry. They're competing for attention, period, across the whole landscape of humanity.
Right.
So guys, so how do you stand out? That's the key, is, with videos and stuff like that. I mean, you can say this real quick here, Brad. Everybody should have a podcast or some kind of video link. Every staffing firm should.
I've said for years, every post has a purpose or has to have a purpose. I think it starts with that. And I probably sound like a broken record if you subscribe to any of my content, but I fundamentally believe every post should have a purpose. So if you're sitting at your computer and you're saying, okay, I know, to John's point, you're going through the motions. I know I need to create this post today because my sales manager told me I need to post 3 times this week. If you're just posting to check a box, there's no value in actually doing that. Mm-hmm. What is your goal with that post? Is it to entertain? Is it to get somebody to have an appointment with you? Is it to even elevate a job? What are you trying to do with this? And then how do you wrap it and package it so that it's entertaining, so that somebody actually wants to consume that media?
So if I'm hearing you correctly,
sure,
maybe people should have a plan.
Yes. Yes, John.
Yeah, just don't post and pray. Stop it.
It's very much coming up with a strategic plan that marries your sales goals with your social media. So much so that I don't even really anymore talk just about a social strategy. I'm talking about holistically. If your goal is, I need to close 10 new orders in Q2, great. What is the sales process? Let's start fundamentally there. What is your sales team going to do? Okay, great. Now, how is marketing going to overlay that? Are we going to have pay-per-click advertising? Are we going to have email marketing? Are we going to have social as a component? Are we going to have content as a component? But to me, those are sort of means to an end, which is driving 10 more orders in Q2. But you absolutely need a plan. I mean, fundamentally, gone are the days where you can just post something on social and get a viral post because of it. And at the end of the day, that doesn't matter anyways. But it 1,000% needs to align with what you're here for in the first point. Again, every post has to have a purpose.
I was being a little bit sarcastic because, I mean, if everybody who follows me knows that I am huge on planning.
Yeah.
And I think too often, too many people in the sales/recruiting world just wing it, and they go balls to the walls with something and they say, hey, let's do this now. A, they don't have a plan. B, they never give new ideas the longevity to see if they're actually working. So if nothing comes back in a month, they're like, okay, let's kick it out the door. When in reality, it's like, well, wait a minute. If you have a plan, commit to the plan, know what kind of timeline you're going to have to measure that plan, have quantifiable metrics by which you can tell if it's working or not. A lot of people, a lot of firms don't take the time to do that because they think it's a waste of time, when in fact, in my opinion, it's a waste of time if you don't do that.
Couldn't agree more. Fundamentally could not agree more.
You know what? And that plan, you guys got to see. In our industry, staffing, we're so conservative. It's like if it's not going to do something or it's not going to get results, then we won't do it. We are not risk takers in our industry, Brad. I mean, seriously, we got to face it.
Yeah, and we're not. And I don't know if maybe I talked to the two of you about this on my show over here with the Secrets of Staffing Success, but the challenge is we need orders today. We need to make placements today because our livelihood depends on it. So it's tough to get a new sales rep to say, listen, you need to commit to this 6-month social media plan because you might close an order in November when people need to eat today. So actually, it was on Insights, and Steve Gibson, my co-host over here from Recruiters Websites, he had made a comment that we need to be hunters and gatherers, right? So you need to go out and hunt and get the orders today, but you also need to gather and make sure that you're putting in the work today to set your future self up for success.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
Well, here's something I think is a disconnect, Brad. Okay, so you have you guys. Okay, you come in there. Should there be somebody in your internal office that listens to you and takes the lead on some of this stuff for social media, especially like local stuff? So, trend jacking, stuff like that, they know the area. Do you think that there should be somebody, it's a recruiter or even sales reps? They're all influencers. I think everybody in the office should be part of the marketing team.
I do too. I think there's full buy-in there. I think you need full buy-in. If your whole team doesn't understand why you're doing the things you're doing, that's where you get people burnt out. That's where you get turnover. If you are a sales manager just saying, listen, John, or I was gonna say, listen, Shark, you need to post 3 times on LinkedIn, but I don't in my heart know why I'm doing this, and I'm not bought into why I'm doing it, then it becomes a resentment play. I'm doing this because I have to, not because I want to, and the content suffers as a result. Exactly right.
Yeah.
When you find joy in the journey, in the process of creating content, and sort of the art that goes into it, it's a very fun place to be in. But if you're just being barked at and told, listen, you need to post 3 times a week because we need orders, no one's going to do that and be successful at it.
Well, and they're foolish to think if you just post that the orders are going to come in too.
Yeah. Or somebody's going to like your post too. I mean, I think too many people, real quick, to side note, is looking for the followers. They're looking for how many likes they get and all that. Brad, what's your take on that? I'm a firm believer. I want people to engage with me. I want to comment. 100 likes and nobody comments. It's blah.
Yeah. Good question. I'm human and I like the dopamine. As much as I want to say that I don't, as much as I want to say I don't, I'm human. And I'm a content creator by heart. So sure, seeing likes and seeing people engage with content always feels good. I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't. It's the same as if, I'm at a conference and you're speaking in front of 100 people or so, and you feel really good when you get off stage. It's the same as when, we cut a new episode of the podcast and it sorts of catch this wave and you say, hey, I think we got something here. But at the end of the day, I take a step back and look more big picture at why am I doing the things I'm doing? Fundamentally, I believe I'm here to help people, right? This industry has been very, very good to me. I think I've learned a few things along the way. I'm continuously looking right now at rolling out this talk again. I mentioned I'm giving it for ASA today on what the best staffing firms do differently. All that is 12 years of collected data from being on thousands of calls and regurgitating it back into a nice presentation. So yes, the likes and the comments, yes, they matter to me. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking more with bigger purpose of why am I putting out the content I'm putting out in the first place, and what's the value that I'm trying to bring to people on the other end of it.
Which is why, in my opinion, you've got a lot of traction and you're seeing success on social media is because you understand your why, and it's a very targeted why to the people that you're sharing that information to.
Sure. I fully agree. Right. So if you follow me on social, you know exactly what you're going to get. And actually I start every talk about it. You're probably going to see my family. You're going to see professional lacrosse because I work for the NLL, and you're going to see a lot of marketing as it relates to staffing firms. Oh, and you're probably going to see a lot about the Buffalo Bills. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to talk about it. I saw that coming. Otherwise, that's what you're going to get. And respectfully, if you don't want to get that, then don't follow me. Then let's not connect. But that is who I am. And that is what you would get if I met you at a conference. That's what you would get if we met for a cup of coffee. That's what you would get in person. So that's who I am online too.
I love what you said there, Brad, because that's being authentic, like we all are on the stage. So break this down. Everybody wants to be authentic. We talk about this. Every conference is saying, be real, be authentic. I thought I was authentic from day one. So tell me, how can people jump into that? I think a lot of people, I'll be honest with you, they're trying to follow other people and that has success. Like, I'm not following Gary V. I take some of his advice, but I got my own lane.
Hey, I'm going to jump in. If you have to think about how to be authentic, then I think you're not authentic.
Exactly. I see. I mean, so tell people out there, they say, I want to be authentic. Go ahead, Brad.
Be you. So, I mean, it's Dr. Seuss 101, right? Today you are you. That's truer than true. There's no one alive who is youer than you.
Woo, look at that.
I got a
like
3-year-old in the house.
Reads across America. There he goes.
A 3-year-old in the house. But listen, when we talk about authenticity, it's just being who you are online, exactly who you are offline. Again, I start every single talk the same way. And it's almost a scripted run at this point. Hey, I'm here by way of Buffalo, New York, the greatest city in the world with the greatest football team in the world, right? And then I go into who my family is. You see a picture of them. Oh, by the way, I have roots in professional lacrosse. And by the way, I have roots at Haley Marketing for 12 years talking about staffing and recruiting firms and specifically how marketing can elevate your organization. That's what you're going to get. That's authentically me. Now, if I am on LinkedIn talking about, let's go this route, politics, religion, whatever it might be, that's not me. I don't care enough about that. There are other people that do, but you're not going to catch that from my feed because that's not who I am.
Well said.
Oh, wow, John, same thing. Well said.
It's like you guys have done this before.
You know what? Something I want to really type into is paid advertising, Brad.
Sure.
I got a lot of people talk about this all the time. Give me your take on this. So many people say, well, I did paid for this on social platforms, didn't get any return on this. Break it down for them because I think everybody thinks they're spending too much money and not getting the ROI.
Every third post on Facebook is an ad right now. So if you are not running ads, I think they're table stakes for having a business in 2025. Whether you're running Facebook ads, you're running Google remarketing ads, you're running ads across Google's advertising network, I would say if you have ran pay-per-click advertising in the past and you didn't get any ROI, it's because the campaign wasn't dialed in the right way. And that's not to say you need to outsource it. That's not to say that you need to hire anybody to do it. If you didn't get ROI from your campaign, you either didn't know the goal of what you were trying to achieve, or you didn't know how to push the buttons the right way to achieve the goal you were looking for. I could get in a race car, but it doesn't mean I'm going to win Daytona, right? You have to have the right person behind the wheel doing it, and you also have to have the right vision. So with pay-per-click advertising, there's a couple things that I think are table stakes. Right now, if you're trying to layer in over a sales system, we need to surround those prospects with ads. We need to make sure that they're seeing your brand, because no one is ready for a one-call close. No one's ready for that purchase. No one's making a decision about their staffing needs on one call. Let's surround them with ads. If they're coming to your website, well, then we better have remarketing on the website so that when they leave, they're seeing your ads again. Friends, anybody watching live, if you don't know what remarketing is, those are those Amazon ads. You look at a product, you don't buy it, it follows you around the internet. We can be doing that with your staffing firm, and we should be doing that with your staffing firm. On Facebook, same thing. And again, the reason for that is we want to create this ecosystem, this sales system and this ecosystem where prospects, you're just in their world. Whether you're in their, they're in your crosshairs because of the sales efforts that you're conducting. They're seeing you organically on social because of the video content shark that you're putting out or whatever it might be. They're seeing your pay-per-click advertising ads because they've been to your website, or they're targeted because of those ads. They're seeing your email marketing, whatever it might be. They are in your world and you are in their world. And that's what we're trying to do with ads.
It's all about the ocean. Swim in my ocean, brother, and we're good to go. So real quick, John, I'll let you jump in here. Is like, now we tied into influencer marketing. Should there be an influencer in every office? I mean, you tell me, like a recruiter. I mean, your face has got to be out there, Brad. You know that. And a lot of people, I feel sometimes they don't want to take pictures of themselves, you know, and stuff like that. We're in staffing. It's a people person business. What's your take on all this in the influencer marketing for each staffing firm?
Do what's comfortable for you. Start with what's comfortable for you. You might, this is actually a really good example here. So you might like to write. Actually, I've gone back and forth with David from our team on this. David is a very, very good writer. He likes to write. He pens our weekly newsletter. He loves to write. Now, he does webinars, but I know in talking with him, and he might love them more now since we've had this conversation. I know in his heart, though, he likes to write. So write long form articles, be the voice, have a Substack, put out a weekly newsletter on LinkedIn, whatever it might be. Write about recruiting, write about your staffing sales process, or not staffing sales process, but write about the pain points of this, the people that you're trying to reach out to. Right. I will not write ever. I don't want to. I don't like it. I've tried it in the past. Any writing from me is usually getting help in one way or another, but it's stemming from conversations that I'm having, either podcast videos like this, audio recordings that we're doing. It's starting from another type of conversation. That's the content that I like to create. You might be super artistic. Great. Take pictures, take photos, whatever it might be, but find the creative medium that works best for you and then leverage it that way.
So it all goes back to, if I'm hearing you correctly, it all goes back to being your authentic self. Because I agree with you 100%. There are some people in sales that are not comfortable generating social media content per se, like a reel or a video or a podcast. However, they need to have their niche, and they might, to your point, they might be a good writer. They might be a good photographer. They, just doing something that makes sense for you. And not saying, oh, I guess I have to do it this way because that's what everybody else is doing.
You know what else you could do? Like fundamental, just an easy tip. Record your next sales call. Record your next call or week of calls. Take all those transcripts, dump them into something like ChatGPT and say, listen, what are the 15 themes that I talked about on these calls?
Ooh,
maybe not ask it to write the articles yet. Don't ask it to actually do the tactical work. But hey, these are the calls that I had this week. You are my... I have a GPT set up as my production assistant. So you are my production assistant. These are all of the calls I had today. What themes did the people I talked to have in mind consistently?
That's
time over time?
Brilliant.
What were their pain points? What did they talk about? And then from there, okay, Shark, you love to be on video, and John, you'll be my writer for the example. Okay, great. Now, Shark, you have 15 videos that you can create next week based on the pain points that you heard on your calls the week prior. John, You now have a month's worth of content that you can write about, all from the calls that you had. And better, you had the calls, so you had the transcript. So now you can use the transcript to help create that content.
Wow.
Work smarter, not harder, right, friends? Let's use what we're already doing.
It's so true. So how many times did they say shark in my comments, in my calls? It's seriously. But all joking aside, you're so right on that. The calls, you can record them. Just tell them you're recording it and put them together. I think something that we got to hit on real quick that we're tying down the road is when you make a piece of content, you can splice and dice that 10 more ways and put it out there.
Yeah.
People don't understand that. A 2-minute piece of content could go 10 different ways.
Yeah, so I can tell you like my blueprint over here for Take the Stage specifically, which both of you have been on. So we have the podcast over here, The Secrets of Staffing Success. Under that umbrella, there's 2 shows, Insights and Take the Stage. On Take the Stage, I get to sit down with industry consultants and speakers and thought leaders, really to get their secrets for the industry. We sit down for a 30-minute interview, 45-minute interview. That's where it starts. From there, we chop that up into 3 to 5 blog articles. Again, using the fundamentals that I just talked about. We chop that up into bite-sized, what I consider breadcrumbs of the video. So we're cutting that down from 30 minutes into, we cut it down into one highlight. So what is the one key takeaway? That gets posted on YouTube. We chop it into multiple sharing videos, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever it takes to get the point across. Break that down. We could turn it into infographics. We could turn it into slide shares or PDFs, whatever it might be. But yes, it all starts with that conversation, with that podcast. And my whole goal from the show, because John, we talk about working your plan and planning your work, it all funnels back to the show, right? So I want people to see all of that content, watch the full episode to learn more about Haley Marketing, to learn more about what we are, right, at the end of the day. But it's all sort of this, let's start with one long form, break it down so that we can then bring it right back up to the full show.
You do a really good job of that, because you're the things you break down when I'm looking at your feed and you've got the 30 or 45 second bite. It adds value in that 30 to 45 seconds, but it's also a teaser that makes you want to see more.
100%, guys.
Yeah.
Netflix does teasers all the time, right? I say this all the time.
Yeah.
If they do a trailer, you watch that before you watch the movie, right? If we can do the same thing in freaking staffing, I say this over and over, Brad, that quick little burst. So like, ooh, I want more of this from Brad. I want more and more and more. And then before that minute, they're in the ocean with you, swimming with you forever.
That's exactly right. So we're battling for attention. So if I can have value directly in that post, where if you don't watch the episode, but you still leave with, hey, that was a good takeaway, and that's just something that can make me 1% better today, which is a mentality that I have, is just how can I get 1% better in key areas every single day? If that can be it, awesome. Or if I have done my job effectively and I've hooked you well enough with the headline, with that message where now you want to watch the whole show and then hopefully find other episodes, even better. But yes, it has to be value. We can't just be running, ads, I guess.
Okay, so all this good stuff here, before we wrap it up here, keeping up. Everybody's going to say, okay, how do I keep up with this? You went, you set a plan up. Is there 3 little tips you can tell people how to start? Because a lot of people, I think that I run into, Brad and John, they're like, oh, I do social media, but it's just posting like we have 100 jobs. That's really not social media, posting stuff. So can you give them some little insights how to start?
Specifically social media, not marketing collectively.
No marketing, anything online. Yeah, they're online. They need to start posting there and drumming some business up. And some eyes.
So if you want to get started, I would start with your sales. Let's say you need orders. You're trying to drive orders. Start with your sales process. And then think about where are there gaps in the sales process and how marketing can help fill those gaps. Then the marketing sort of falls into place. So start with your goal. What are you trying to achieve? Is it driving more orders? Is it driving more applications? What are you trying to do? Build that sales plan, build that recruiting plan, and then think about how marketing overlays it. Then deploy. 2, I think the easiest thing that you could do when it comes to social media specifically is start where you're comfortable. If you are on LinkedIn a lot, as everyone in our industry is, that's where you're going to start posting. If you love TikTok and you're a creative, artistic person and you want to do that, start there. I don't do a whole lot on TikTok because it's not my platform. I know there's an audience there for us and for me. I only have so many resources though, and I only have so many hours in the day, and I just can't do it. I can't do it all. And we need to be okay with accepting that we can't do it all, which might be a bonus tip. And then number 3, and this is something I've been saying a lot lately, is find a coach. find somebody who can either do it for you or can help you along the line. So, the weightlifting methodology of, do you need a personal trainer to tell you what to lift? Or do you need somebody to get in there and do the squat for you? Right. And there's two schools of thought for that. If you're going to outsource your social media, you need to find a coach, somebody who can coach you through what you should be posting as it relates to your goals, as it relates to what you're looking to achieve. Or two, listen, I don't want to get in the squat rack. Go do the squats for me. Okay. Mm-hmm. There are people that can do that too.
I love it. Johnny, any final thoughts, man?
I am personally going to rewatch this episode several times because
yourself,
I love
John, right?
Hey, I love all the nuggets that you're sharing, Brad. I can't get enough of it.
Thanks,
because you've got a lot of knowledge. This is your world. So can't thank you enough for sharing it with us and adding the value to it. So really, really appreciate it.
A lot of fun, fellas. Always fun to talk to the two of you. I don't know what conferences y'all have lined up or when I'll see you soon, but hopefully it will be soon. I think I'm out probably 4 or 5 times this year. So hopefully we cross paths. And if we do, let's certainly get a bite or get some food or something like that.
Get a bite, little workout, something like that. Right, Brad?
I'm in. Shark, do you know what's going on in May, buddy? Have I told you what's going on in my life?
No. Give it to me, brother.
He's running, June, baby.
Yeah. Last June, I signed up for the Buffalo Marathon in May.
Oh, good for you, man. Shout out.
My training has completely changed as of probably June, but really last fall. We're still active, but it's completely changed.
You know what? Can I say this? I was like, he's slendering down. I didn't know what was going on, but now I know. I was like, the pumps are like, dude, good for you, man. Congratulations.
Fun. It's a whole different animal. Pretty much what happened is my wife said, hey, you should try to do it by the time you're 40, just as like a side comment. I'm 34. I said, let's just do it now. And I signed up. And so we're 88 days out. I know that because I just saw the social graphic that we were 90 days out 2 days ago. So 88 days out, ready to go. But yeah, man, I would love to work out with you next conference we're at. But it might be different for me. It might be
okay. So next time we take a picture, I don't have to do the right side anymore. So I can be a little bit bigger.
I know you're going to.
I can just go right in the middle now.
Anybody who's taking a picture with you knows how you're going to take that picture.
The shark shake, right from the right. You know how it is. It's just pulls you in.
He's over here like Popeye because his left side's not as big as the right side.
You know what, man? Right at the end, I was going to say this is a great show, and it just went right down the circle.
Everyone knows the shark shake's coming, and everyone knows that there's nothing they can do about it.
It is. It's like you're getting embraced. Boom.
That's it.
Hey,
authenticity though, right there, buddy.
Thank you so much, man, for everything. These are so good nuggets. We have to bring you back on, John, because there's more I want to talk about, but
so much more.
This is good content to start out. If you guys get a chance, make sure you watch the replay. There's some great stuff here Brad dropped. And if you get a chance, make sure you follow him. He's on every platform, but especially LinkedIn. Every day he's on there doing some kind of concept. And I'll tell you what, the stuff is real. I'm going to tell you, Brad, as much as I love marketing too, man, you're a badass, man. I'm be honest with you. And that's being real, man. I'll tell you if you suck.
Appreciate you guys. I hope you would. Listen, we're not going to hit home runs every time we click publish. And you know it if you don't. So I appreciate you guys. It's been a lot of fun. I will happy to come back anytime. And like I said, if we're at a conference in the near future here, let's grab some food or grab a coffee, whatever you want to do.
Sounds good, brother. Well, hey, thank you so much. That's a wrap. We'll see you next week. Take care, fellas.
All right, fellas.
See ya.